Welcome to my new series where I learn how to fish like a local in Brazil. In this series together, we're gonna start from the beginning. We need some fishing gear, we need a fishing license, we need to figure out the fishing regulations, I need to find out where to fish, and in the process, we'll see how many different species I can catch. And along the way, we'll try some of the popular fish dishes they have here. Oh, hey bird. We'll try some of the popular fish dishes they have here in Brazil and see how they compare to our traditional fish dish, fish and chips. I'm sure I'm gonna face some challenges while I'm trying to catch these exotic fish, but there's also the obvious language barrier. I don't know Portuguese that well. I'm learning, but eu sei pouco português, mas não entendo muito. So here in Brazil, they have a lot of stocked ponds that they call pesque-pagues, which translates to pay and fish. And they usually give you rental gear if you need it. On my first trip to Brazil, we went to a pesque-pague in Brasilia. And while using their rental gear, I ended up catching a tambaqui and a tilapia, which was pretty sweet. I was super stoked about that. But while I was there, I saw some other people catching some super interesting looking fish and like some cool catfish and stuff, but they were using some more advanced setups. So this time I really want to see if I can get some of those species and see how many other kind of species I can catch. So in order to do that, I'll have to get my own gear and different kinds of rigs and figure out what kind of baits people use for these fish. So today we're at one of the biggest malls in South America, Parque Dom Pedro, and there's a decathlon here and some other sports stores, so let's see if they've got some fishing gear for me. That's crazy. Well, I'm not having any luck yet. I can't seem to find the fishing stuff. There's camping stuff, but no fishing stuff. Maybe I have to go to a fishing specific store? Luckily, there seems to be a lot of fishing specific stores here in Brazil. Just a quick search on Google and you can see a ton. I mean, sometimes you gotta question whether or not they're still open. Sometimes that happens. It doesn't always get updated on Google, but I think we gotta check an actual store. And then I can get some actual professional advice. Some advice from people who also know about fishing, not just sells the stuff, you know? Yeah, I think I gotta go to a fishing specific store to get what I want. Okay, let's go. I'll need a bag to carry all my fishing stuff, so, I mean, that's a pretty good price. It's like 12 bucks for this. I think that'll hold most of my fishing gear. So as you saw there, Decathlon didn't have what I needed, unfortunately, so I still need to get some fishing gear. But I didn't come completely empty-handed. I did bring some stuff from Canada, so let me show you what I brought. So I think I brought a good assortment here. Let's start over here. We got the Limestone Lures rib kickers, you know, fish eat fish. These should work. I don't see why not. Then I brought some dipsticks, the super reliable stick bait, and then Ned stick. You know, these ones are super durable because they're stretchy, which is great. And these catch me fish when other lures are not catching me fish. Then I brought the classic cotton cordell, not in a white, but you know, nice sized cotton cordell, square bill bait, nice shallow running crankbait, and the Len Thompson, the classic Canadian spoon. This thing is a catch-all. Some more Ontario-made baits. Some blackfly lures spinner baits. These blackfly spinner baits are fantastic, and you know, spinner baits are my confidence bait. And then chatter baits, also Ontario-made. These are from Weapons of Bass Destruction. I've got a rib kicker on there as a trailer. Hopefully they'll get smashed. And lastly, a jitterbug. I've seen that a lot of the peacock bass will smash topwater, so I'm sure other fish will hit topwater too. My dad's favorite lure, so had to bring that. And for reels, I brought the Alios by Piscifun, or Piscifun, however you want to pronounce it. And then the ultra reliable President XT Fluger reel, size C30. I brought this just because I knew that it would be reliable and I could depend on it. It has a super smooth drag. I really love this reel, so I had to bring this reel. In a few hours here, when my girlfriend gets off work, we're going to go to a local fishing store because I obviously need a couple rods, release gear, and Maybe liters? I really don't know. So my budget is 400, 500 reais, which is about $100 to $150 Canadian. So hopefully I can get all that stuff. I saw fishing rods are about like 50 Canadian to 100 Canadian, so not too bad. So the first place we went was this small little shop inside of the municipal market here in Campinas. And the guy seemed a little bit more interested in watching TikTok, or as they call it here, tiki-talkie. More interested in watching that than kind of helping me out. So I decided we would go somewhere else. Okay, so not much luck there. They were more of like a market kind of fishing store. Not really many people to ask for advice. And not a huge selection, so we'll try somewhere else. So the next place we went was a place called Tarde Pesca, and it was also like a smaller shop, but it was packed with stuff. And it seemed like the guy working behind the counter also owned the fishing store. And after talking to him for a short time, it was clear he fished as well. He was showing me things on Instagram of him catching some nice big tambaqui and I think tilapia. So it was obvious that he knew his stuff, and he was very helpful.
Mas você tá usando só você tá usando pedacinho assim, só daqui até aí.
Let's suppose you're using that and just leave that amount of
Vai ficar
line.
olhando
So
aqui,
Luana
ó.
did her best to translate everything for me. She's fluent in Portuguese, obviously, but maybe not so fluent in fishing terminology, understandably. So she did her best to try and communicate what he
You
was trying to
first
say to me.
roll the line and then
slack
you...
and then set the hook.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting excited now. Still unimaginable. Anyways, the guy working behind the counter and the younger guy that was working there with him, they were very helpful, and they got me all set up to fish the pesky paggies here and surprised me with some information and made me realize that I do need to learn more of the regulations here. First off, what we call catch and release, they call it sport fishing, which only further supports my argument that fishing is a sport.
For the sports, you cannot use this one, just this one. For
Okay.
The
Can I get these ones and pinch the barb? When you're sport fishing, you actually can't use barbed hooks. If you do use barbed hooks in the pesky paggies, they will probably make you keep the fish that you catch, and they'll also make you pay for any fish that you do keep. So if I want to do just sport fishing, catch and release, I need to use barbless hooks.
A que você tá usando lá é dessa daqui?
The one that you have is that?
See?
No pesqueiro não pode.
No?
Okay, on the pescatari you cannot.
Can't use it. Oh. Second, and this one really surprised me, is I can't use braided fishing line in the pesky paggies.
Quando você fisga forte, se estiver passando peixe, a linha corta o peixe.
Oh, it cuts the fish?
Yeah.
Apparently, the braided fishing line can cut the fish and damage fish, and they don't want that if you're doing catch and release, obviously. So you have to fish with either monofilament or something he called soft line, which is kind of like I believe it's a fluorocarbon that's been conditioned and treated. Oh, no, it's actually 32-pound monofilament. Third, I don't actually need a fishing license if I'm going to fish the pesky paggies or if I'm going to fish on private property. Only if I want to do more naturalized fishing out of the natural lakes or rivers around here, then I will need a fishing license. So I still had more questions for him, but we were coming really close to closing time and I didn't want to keep him any longer. Maybe I should go back and ask him if he wants to go fishing sometime. I know I could learn a lot just from fishing with somebody who actually knows what they're doing here. Anyways, let me show you the gear I got. So I got pliers, of course. I need some release tools. Seems decent. And then I got this. This is the leader line that I'll be using. 70-pound leader line. Everything here, though, they talk about it in kilograms. I got this for like high vis. This is my main line, 32-pound main line. Then this is kind of like a bite indicator. So fishing line going down to the hook and a fishing line coming back to the rod, of course. And this will be floating in the water. And the fishing line that goes from here to the hook with the bait on it, I'll have this halfway in between, depending on how long my leader is. This will go underwater if the fish bites it and starts taking it and running with it, in which case I'd give him the bad news and set the hook. He threw these in for free, which was nice of him, these weights, so it won't just kind of drift around on its own. I can kind of find the spot that I want to get it at and keep it there. Float fishing, this is new to me. Now, for the hooks, for sport fishing, only barbless hooks. And then I got this for bait. And I guess I just, well, this is gonna be messy. I'm gonna just mix this with water. It's made with goyaba, or it's flavored with goyaba, I guess. Guava, it's flavored with guava. 500 grams, so I guess I just make a ball of this, let it dry, get the hook inside, or maybe I'll let it dry around the hook. There's gonna be some experimentation anyways as I figure this all out. But the main event, most pesky pagways, most pay and fish places, stock ponds are gonna have a net for me to use. But I don't know if I'm always gonna be at those pesky pagways, especially if I wanna do some more naturalized fishing. Got this net, completely collapses down, which is great, and it extends. And this was 170 reais. So divide that by 4, about $40, $50, I guess. And then, vara de pesca. And I got the lesser expensive rod. There was one for 270, and then there was this one for 170 reais, I think. Maybe this is not as strong as that other one, but I think this one will do for me. We will see. We will see. Anyway, so I'm pretty much set up. Well, hopefully you've learned something from that first episode of my new series, Learning How to Fish Like a Local in Brazil. There's lots more to come as I'm going to be here for another 5-ish months. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later.